This is about nature, time, and humanity. I'm not a pretentious guy at all. I saw a show on PBS that was all about people, human beings, the poor, bare, forked animals, looking up at the sky during the day and the night, and that they learned from doing that. Some of them learned a considerable amount. One of the things they learned was an appreciation of time and how to mark off segments of time, periodic sections, like the day, month, and year. I'm not sure where hours, minutes, and seconds come from. They may be arbitrary divisions. But the revolution of the planet, Earth spinning around, causing the sun to appear to rise and set with regularity, what we call one day. Then the moon revolving around the earth in a period we call a month. That took a more acute observation, but someone figured out that if you start with a full moon and then watch the phases until the moon is full again, that's 1 month, or a month. And the earth goes around the sun, again, tougher to prove and observe, but this was done, and it resulted in our year. So we were quantifying time by looking up into the sky. Curiosity, observation, reason leads us to how nature works, physics, and a sense of time. A man drove a stick into the ground, and he put a rock on the ground at the tip of the pole's shadow, and that shadow was moving throughout the day. By the time the sun had set, the trail of rocks on the ground was laid out in a great curving arc, and someone figured out that if you attached a string to the top of the pole and held it out a certain distance from the pole, you could trace on the ground a semicircle that intersected the arc in 2 places. And if you drew a line between those 2 points, it would run perfectly east-west. A line perpendicular to that struck north-south. The Great Pyramids in Egypt are on these axes, true to within 1/15th of a degree. All these calculations were made from looking up into the sky. I heard that we shoot lasers at a special mirror set on the moon by astronauts, and from this we were able to develop the GPS system, so that looking up into the sky continues to produce startling results. Monuments were built to what was seen in the sky. They covered Stonehenge and the Aztecs and Mesopotamia and more. They were emphasizing that what was going on up above was of incredible importance to the human beings, and not just for scientific discoveries. There was also astrology. I think they said there are 88 officially recognized constellations, including the 12 of the zodiac. And there were myths about the sun, moon, and stars, creation stories, using stories to explain when science was unable, and gods. Of course there were gods. Who else could possibly be responsible for such magnificent wonders? And I felt there was a progression, a natural progression, if you will, to it all. The humans started out in a relation to what they could see above them that could be called supernatural. The myths, the stories, the gods. As they became more observant, they began to see patterns in the actions of those bodies, the sun, moon, and stars. They formed a new relation with nature that grew more specific with every discovery. These people were natural philosophers, the precursors of modern-day scientists. And the discoveries multiplied until we know a great deal about the world and exactly how it works. Jump ahead to today with all we have discovered and invented using natural principles to, in effect, remove us from direct contact with nature. Most, if not all, of the gadgets we have, we don't know how they work, not a clue, and we also don't care. We don't have to know. They work, and we don't interact with nature, and we don't really care about nature either, not really. That's why we can abuse her so. How different from the people who used to worship nature. Not us. We've lost touch with it. We're unnatural, I guess, or denatured. And I don't see it so much as a huge advance as a very, very dangerous position. We're completely dependent on a world we know nothing about. I would argue that primitive humans who knew some about the sun, moon, and stars may well have been in a much better position than we are today. But try telling that to anyone. They'd think you were either kidding them or crazy.